Have you ever noticed your cat quietly purring, staring fixedly at an empty corner of the room, or even curling up on the lap of someone who isn't there? Have you ever felt that inexplicable shiver when suddenly your pet stops everything and starts following the emptiness with its gaze, as if seeing something only it can see? Those who live with animals know that dogs and cats, besides their loyalty and cuteness, also bring an almost tangible mystery into the home. In many households, stories about pets sensing invisible presences become memorable tales told repeatedly among family members, friends, and on social media. And between us, it's impossible not to wonder. Do they see what is beyond the reach of our eyes? What drives these little animals to act as if they are interacting with faces and energies that we humans simply do not perceive? Stay with me until the end of this video, because what you're about to discover might surprise you. There are hundreds of reports from all over the world about pets showing enigmatic behaviors in the face of the invisible.
Suddenly, the dog starts barking fervently at an empty hallway. The cat's fur stands on end as it stares at a dark corner of the living room. The rabbit runs away, frightened, as if someone were trying to catch it. It sounds like a horror movie script, but these are scenes that happen in ordinary homes, maybe even yours. And if you're relating to these situations, know that you're not alone. After all, animals have senses much sharper than ours, and for many people, they are true detectors of supernatural energies, capable of warning about the presence of ghosts, spirits, or entities from other planes. But why does this happen? Is it just instinct, heightened sensitivity, or are we, in fact, facing supernatural phenomena? When a pet purrs on the lap of someone who isn't there, the atmosphere of the house changes. Just observe. Suddenly, even people seem to notice an invisible weight in the environment, a strange feeling in the air, a subtle but undeniable change. Who hasn't stayed in absolute silence watching the cat staring at nothing, or felt the dog rest its head in the air as if receiving affection from invisible hands? In this universe of mysteries, curiosity arises. What really happens when our pets come into contact with hidden dimensions? Science strives to explain, seeking answers in animal instincts, environmental stimuli, and even behavioral disorders. Still, many experts admit, not everything has a logical explanation. Imagine the scene in detail. You come home tired and find your cat calmly curled up on the sofa as usual. But instead of snuggling next to you, it lies exactly where a person used to sit, looks up, and lets out that deep, satisfied purr. Yet there is no one there. Or is there? Tell me, have you ever experienced this? Have you ever had the impression that someone else, besides you and your pet, silently shares your home? And when, out of nowhere, your animal starts meowing, barking, or becoming restless as if seeing someone who isn't there, you can't deny it. Situations like these stir our imagination, our memories, and especially our fears and fascination with the supernatural. In today's video, we will dive deep into these intriguing reports and try to understand why so many pets seem to see and feel invisible presences. Get ready to hear real stories, surprising curiosities about animals' sensory abilities, and discover what science and popular belief have to say about all this. Oh, and of course, throughout the video, tell me if you've ever witnessed something similar in your home, because your answers only enrich this conversation. Now, get comfortable, because what comes next promises to challenge your view of the world that exists beyond what we can see. And that's why, before we dive even deeper into this mysterious universe of invisible presences and pets that seem to see beyond what we know, I want to invite you to be part of this real conversation. You know that striking story about your dog that wouldn't stop growling at the empty air? Or that strange moment when your cat simply acted as if someone was beside them, stroking their fur even though you didn't see anyone nearby? Share it with us in the comments, because it's these stories, these small and incredible personal experiences, that turn this channel into a true community of mystery and supernatural enthusiasts. If this topic makes sense to you, if anything we've talked about so far stirred your memories or gave you chills, go ahead and leave your like on the video. It may seem like just a click, but it's this simple gesture that shows we're on the right track, and that you value this kind of unique, deep, and enigmatic content. And if you're just arriving now or aren't part of our community yet, take the chance to subscribe to the channel. That way, you'll follow all the upcoming stories, discover more secrets of the supernatural world of pets, and also help the channel grow, bringing this content to more and more people interested in mysteries like you. Your participation here is what makes this channel grow and reach new homes, new stories, and of course, share more and more incredible experiences. So, comment, like, subscribe, and come with us, because what we still have to uncover together might surprise even the most skeptical.
Now, I want to go even deeper into this subject, because when we talk about pets sensing invisible presences, we are not simply exploring a supernatural phenomenon out of curiosity or entertainment. We are coming into contact with a hidden truth that crosses generations, cultures, fears, and even the way we interpret the world around us. The relationship between humans and animals goes far beyond daily coexistence. It creates mysterious bridges, connects sensitivities, and reveals nuances that usually remain hidden behind the scenes of our perception. How many times have you wondered if an unexpected reaction from your pet was just a coincidence or a real warning of something beyond your reach? This kind of experience transforms our mindset and makes us question how far animals' sensitivity goes. The impact of all this can be much greater than it seems at first glance. In many homes, just a cat changing the focus of its gaze or a dog refusing to enter a certain room can completely change the atmosphere. It's as if our pets were messengers from an invisible dimension, silent guardians capable of sensing energies, presences, and even intentions that escape our rational understanding. And even if you have never witnessed something like this, just imagining that it can happen already stirs our emotions in a different way. There are impressive reports of people who made important decisions based on their pet's unusual behavior, changing the course of their own history. You might even notice that at certain moments of transformation in your life, your animal became quieter, more skittish, or more affectionate than usual. Coincidence? Maybe, but many of these stories fuel the belief that there is much more happening behind the scenes of everyday life than we can see. When we talk about this mysterious connection, we are also reflecting on our own journey of self-knowledge, on the choices we make, and on how we interpret the signs of the universe around us. And that's not all. Dealing with the idea that a little animal can identify a spiritual presence creates a mix of fascination, fear, and at the same time, an inexplicable sense of protection.
Meanwhile, many people try to find logical, scientific explanations for the phenomenon. They talk about dogs' keen sense of smell, cats' refined hearing, survival instincts inherited from wild ancestors. But in some cases, science hits the limits of the unknown and admits that certain facts remain an open mystery. The hidden truth is that when a pet acts as if it senses the presence of someone invisible, the question lingers. Are our animals communicating something that goes beyond common understanding, or is our mind seeking meaning for the inexplicable? It is this doubt that keeps the interest in stories like these alive, and it is what allows our curiosity to be constantly renewed. Living with animals forces us to look at reality in an expanded way, opening space for other interpretations, other possibilities. Sometimes, a simple altered behavior of the pet can be the beginning of a new phase, or even a subtle warning of something much bigger. So, share below. Write in the comments, "I'm on this journey too," if you feel that these experiences are part of your life or awaken a new vision of what is real and what goes beyond our eyes.
Now, I want to go even deeper into this subject, bringing closer to our conversation what happens off the spotlight, in the silent backstage of many people's homes. It is impressive to notice how reports of animals interacting with nothing cross cultures, age groups, and lifestyles, connecting people from all corners through experiences as similar as they are inexplicable. A woman once told that shortly after losing a loved one, her cat spent entire days purring on that person's favorite sofa, often kneeling as if it were nestled in the lap of someone invisible. She swore she could feel the atmosphere of the room change, a mixture of longing, peace, and mystery, as if there really was a presence there that only the animal could perceive. There is also the story of a couple who, in the early morning, began to notice the dog standing in front of the dark hallway, wagging her tail and staring intently into the void, as if waiting for someone to arrive. It happened so many nights in a row that they started to believe something was revealing itself to the pet during the silent early hours. In another account, a family says that the dogs in the house avoided a specific part of the backyard after a sudden change in the weather, barking at nothing, restless behavior, and that persistent feeling that something was out of place. Amidst conversations and suspicious glances, they decided to pray and light a candle at that spot. After that, the dogs never showed discomfort there again. Each of these stories carries not only that chill down the spine, but also a transformation in the way of seeing everyday life. The journey of those who share their lives with animals is full of these unexpected revelations, and those who go through something like this rarely return to their old mindset. Some even say that after such an episode, they begin to decipher new signs in their pet's behavior, paying even more attention to small details that previously went unnoticed. It is interesting how the impact of these experiences goes beyond fear. Often, it creates a sense of respect for the mystery, for the hidden truth that seems to permeate the coexistence between humans and animals. The lesson lingers in the air. Perhaps our pets are always showing us more than we are capable of accepting or understanding. If this kind of experience has touched you in some way, comment here. This makes sense to me. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, exploring the fascinating complexity of animal sensations and the impact they have on our perception of the events around us. When we look at the behavior of our pets in mysterious situations, it is almost impossible not to be amazed by the world of possibilities that opens up. Dogs, for example, are true detection machines. Their sense of smell is thousands of times more sensitive than ours, capable of perceiving pheromones, chemical changes in the environment, and even the scent of human emotions, such as fear and anxiety. Cats' hearing is legendary. While noises are almost silent to us, they can pick up very high frequencies, perceive subtle signals coming from other rooms, and even sounds that completely escape our common reality. These abilities seem to explain, to some extent, why they perceive any strange movement, unexpected approach, or even the presence of other animals and people before we do. But what happens when the scenario is different? When there is no noise, smell, shadow, or anything concrete happening, yet the pet's behavior changes drastically? It is at this point that science reaches the limits of knowledge and conventional explanations begin to fail, opening doors to doubts and reflections that go far beyond the surface. The hidden truth is that all this sensory potential can indeed justify part of the mysterious reactions of animals. But there is something more in this equation. Some specialists talk about the perception of so-called energies in the environment, or even about the existence of electromagnetic fields that act on dogs and cats, altering the way they behave in the face of almost imperceptible changes. In any case, thinking about these possibilities completely transforms our mindset. It reveals that living with animals means accepting a level of sensitivity and attention to the invisible that surpasses everything we thought we knew. Behind the scenes of everyday life, it is these small signs, the fixed gaze, the restless posture, the unexpected shivers, that feed our curiosity. The decisions we make in response to these episodes can redefine routines, reshape beliefs, and create a more respectful and open relationship with the unknown. On one hand, the impact of a simple reaction from a pet can be the starting point for a search for logical explanations. On the other hand, it also pushes us toward a journey of questioning and new perspectives on the boundaries between reality and mystery. On this path, it becomes impossible to completely separate science and intuition, reason and fascination. What remains for us is to observe carefully, dive into the experience, and accept that, often, our little animals are the true protagonists of great revelations within the home. If all this makes sense to you or awakens that desire to see beyond the obvious, comment here, "I'm on this journey too." Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because throughout history, countless intriguing cases involving animals and supernatural phenomena have challenged logic and continue to send chills down the spines of even the most skeptical. There is no shortage of legendary reports of pets that seem, in fact, to perceive what lies beyond our understanding. Perhaps you have already heard of the famous episode of the House of the Sybils in England, where every night the family dog would simply stop in front of the stairs and growl softly at the void, even when all the household members were nearby and there was not a single strange noise. The suspense grew even more when, one early morning, the dog was found standing on the threshold, seeming to block the passage of something invisible, but which created an electric tension in the air. This type of event gained space in the records of British urban legends because, shortly after, other residents confirmed feeling the same sense of presences in the place, always preceded by some kind of alert from the animal. In Brazil, the stories are no less impressive. One of the best known involves an old mansion in the countryside of Minas Gerais, where, for generations, the family claimed to see the old dog behaving strangely in the days close to the anniversary of the patriarch's death. Always during this period, the animal refused to go upstairs, howled at dusk, and in some years was seen lying in front of the old portrait of the owner, as if paying a kind of silent tribute. Curiously, this behavior was reproduced by other dogs that came later, as if a message or code had been passed down from generation to generation. Another remarkable case gained international attention when, in a small village in Japan, a cat named Tama was caught on security cameras staring intently at an empty space in the living room minutes before an earthquake was felt in the region. For many there, this was not simply a reflection of sharp instincts, but a direct connection to forces or energies that escape traditional explanation. These episodes are just a small sample of a universe full of enigmas and revelations about the impact our pets can have on our perception of the unknown, bringing to light a hidden truth about how living with them launches us on a journey of deep discoveries, often inexplicable. There remains a feeling that perhaps these animals are fulfilling a silent role as guardians, capable of alerting, protecting, and sensitizing the environment. If these stories awaken something in you, comment here, "This makes sense to me." Now I want to go even deeper into this subject. Because when we encounter strange behaviors in our pets, it is inevitable to wonder, could there be a hidden truth there, waiting to be discovered? Science, with its search for rational explanations, enters precisely this point of tension between what we can prove and what remains inexplicable. Ethologists, professionals specialized in animal behavior, often point out that much of what we call supernatural episodes may be the result of extremely sharp senses. Dogs, for example, can detect smells kilometers away and perceive minimal changes in the environment, while cats have the ability to hear sounds we don't even register. Veterinarians report cases where an animal senses the arrival of someone at home before anyone else, or shows distrust in places where people feel uncomfortable, even after inspections that find no physical problem in the location. However, even so, there are episodes that defy any logical explanation. Researchers and neuroscientists already admit that, no matter how much the biological capacities of animals are investigated, there are situations where no answer is simply found. They also cite experiments that try to isolate all external stimuli, but in certain cases, pets continue to act as if they feel something beyond what science can measure. The most interesting thing is to realize that, for many of these specialists, studying these phenomena is entering a journey marked by humility and curiosity. Instead of dismissing what does not fit traditional models, part of the scientific community recognizes that animals can indeed access aspects of the environment invisible to us, whether through still unknown mechanisms
or perhaps through realities that completely escape our current understanding. What remains is an invitation to reflection and constant search, because each report, after all, provokes a transformation in our way of seeing the world and stimulates new questions. If this debate somehow moves your mindset or has already made you rethink living with your pet, comment here. I'm on this journey too.
Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because there is something hard to explain, but impossible to ignore, when that heavy feeling takes over the environment. You know that moment when the silence in the house feels dense and even the air changes texture? It's as if an energy passes through walls, slowly changing the atmosphere, and we feel it without even seeing it. Often it's impossible to pinpoint a rational reason. No one arrived, nothing happened, no furniture was moved. Despite that, the vibe changes, leaving everything suspended, almost like a pause between one moment and another. It is in this scenario that, almost always, our pets are the first to react, as if they sense the invisible impact circulating there. It's interesting to notice how, in this type of situation, people tend to act similarly. First, a subtle discomfort, that involuntary urge to check doors, adjust the light, or simply try to break the mood with some silly comment. But when you look at the animal, it's impossible not to notice the difference.
Dogs perk up their ears, focus on a specific point, or even back away, making their discomfort visible. Cats, on the other hand, seem almost to enter a trance, eyes fixed on nothing, as if they capture every particle of that energy. Sometimes it's a simple transformation, a shiver all over, fur standing on end, a change of place without explanation. The most curious thing is how this phenomenon, this weight of the invisible presence, connects people through a shared experience. Someone always says, "It feels like there's something strange here." Another tries to rationalize it, but unconsciously, everyone watches how the pet responds to that mood. Maybe, deep down, we are all searching for some sign, a silent alert, a feeling of protection, or just the confirmation that we are not alone, even when nothing seems to be happening. This kind of moment changes the dynamics of every room, making even the most trivial routine special. It's a constant revelation, behind the scenes of everyday life, that makes us rethink the very concept of company and presence. If you have ever been through a situation like this, and also felt this transformation in the environment along with your pet, comment here. This makes sense to me. Now, I want to go even deeper into this subject, because in the midst of this universe of sensations that pass through the walls of the house, there are precious details hidden in the behavior of our pets. Sometimes we are so used to the routine that we let small signs slip by, almost as if they were part of the scenery. But just a change in the energy of the environment is enough for the animal's gaze to reveal something beyond the surface. It is in these moments that it's worth asking, what could they want to show us? Focus, for example, on fixed stares. You know when the dog or cat suddenly stops everything, sits down, and keeps their gaze fixed on an empty spot, as if they see something no one else does? This is usually one of the most classic signs, almost always seen as curiosity. But over time, it reveals a hidden truth about the impact of energies or presences around. Another striking behavior is unexpected meowing or barking, especially when it happens for no apparent reason, at times or places that would normally be quiet. Often it seems like the animal is trying to talk to something or someone that simply isn't part of our field of vision. Moreover, there is the sudden change in mood. Animals that were calm become skittish, or, out of nowhere, seek protection from their owners. Some notice the pet hiding, trembling, or showing discomfort in environments where they previously acted normally. The opposite also happens. Animals that seemed indifferent suddenly show unusual affection or go take a nap in unusual places, as if they wanted to get closer to some special energy. Even snouts sniffing the air, raised fur, and tense ears can be sincere alerts about something out of the ordinary happening behind the scenes in the house. Paying attention to these signs is like tuning our own sense of presence. The more attentive we are, the easier it is to realize that these details are not mere coincidences. They bring a rare ability to provoke transformation in our mindset because they invite us to actively participate in this journey of discovery. A call to see, feel, and interpret the world in a way that only those who live with pets can understand. If any of these signs have already sparked your curiosity or changed your perception at home, write this down. I'm on this journey too. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because all this fascination we feel in front of the signs from our pets reveals a lot about who we are, how we deal with the unknown, and even about our choices throughout life. Deep down, the mystery of invisible presences captivates us precisely because it stirs ancestral emotions. For centuries, stories of encounters with the inexplicable have been passed down through generations, carrying with them fear, curiosity, and respect for what we cannot control. It's as if our collective imagination is fed by these narratives. Those low voices we've heard around family gatherings, grandparents' accounts of strange things noticed by a cat, or that dog that seemed to see what no one else could. This kind of experience touches a sensitive point in our mindset: the search for meaning in small and big things, the need to interpret the signs that appear around us as part of something greater. Recognizing strange behavior in an animal is often the beginning of a personal journey made up of intimate discoveries and doubts shared in silence. The feeling that there might be something beyond matter, a possible hidden truth in the attentive eyes of our pet, stimulates a transformation in the way we look at our own routine, an openness to new revelations, even in those seemingly ordinary moments. It is common on this path for deep questions to arise. Are we really alone? How do we decide between trusting the animal's instinct or seeking logical explanations? These doubts make us connect past, present, and future, recalling old stories but also creating living memories with our own animals. There, in daily coexistence, among play, affection, and silences, grows the certainty that pets are more than company. They are subtle guardians of the backstage and sensitive accomplices of the emotions that cross us. And there is a fascinating detail in all this: the way this emotional bond breaks down any barrier between reason and feeling, uniting families and awakening the best of our human curiosity. If you feel these themes resonate in your heart, comment here. This makes sense to me. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject. Because after traveling through stories, signs, and so many inexplicable sensations captured by our pets, there comes a point when doubt stops being just curiosity and becomes part of our daily perspective. Is there really an invisible boundary between what we perceive and what they feel? The answer is never simple, but maybe this uncertainty is the great factor that transforms our relationships with them. The fact is that every time an animal reacts to something imperceptible, we rethink the subtlest details of coexistence, as if life alongside them gained a different yet challenging glow. The impact of living with this doubt is profound. It transforms everyday decisions, influences family conversations, and even encourages us to record events that would have otherwise gone unnoticed. When we face these episodes with an open heart, it's as if we embark together on a journey of silent revelations, trying to decipher a hidden truth accessible only to those who truly pay attention. And it's interesting to notice how, behind the scenes of these situations, each person develops their own observation rituals. Some turn to rationality, others prefer to trust intuition, and some allow themselves just to feel it all without demanding immediate explanation. Deep down, it is this challenge of living with something that cannot be definitively explained that ends up connecting people of different ages, mindsets, and histories. The fascination with understanding whether our pets see or feel something beyond revolves around the human desire to be part of a broader universe, less limited to what the eyes can reach. Thus, doubt becomes fuel for debates, memories, and exchanges of experiences. A bridge that brings closer those who have already lived similar situations or who simply feel that there is much more happening than can be seen. So if this mystery of animals also makes you question reality and seek meaning in the small gestures of everyday life, comment here, "This makes sense to me." If you've made it this far, it's a sign that this mystery also intrigues you and is part of your daily reflections. So, if this kind of conversation made sense to you, take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel. That way, you keep receiving content made for those who truly value these deep connections with pets and the invisible in our daily lives. Don't forget to leave your like, because that helps keep this exchange alive and shows that, in some way, we've created a space of trust and discovery together. And if you stayed until the end, comment here, "I'm with you until the end," because I love knowing who joined me on this complete journey. Now, I invite you to keep exploring. There's a video right here beside that complements everything we discussed today. Click and follow me there to dive even deeper into this universe.